Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Okay, so welcome back. We've been discussing the bans, the plastic bans. So we looked at the Indian scenario. We talked about the Maharashtra ban, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Indian scenario. Then we'll get into the global example. So in this particular video, the focus will be more on the global example. A little bit of Indian scenarios is still left from the last discussion, so which will continue and then get into the global example. Just to recap, in this week we are focusing on the plastic ban, global examples, China's SORT policy, and the impact on global plastic waste management. This is the weekly concept that is going to be covered in this particular week. So looking at again the example from India, from our country, there have been a lot of bans. Maharashtra is what we looked in detail just in the last video, but there are a lot of bans happening in India in terms of there are some complete bans, there are some partial bans, and there is no ban is also there. So in terms of no ban, this data again is to 2016. So Jharkhand has banned now. So Jharkhand already have a ban in place, and some other states also have some sort of ban in place, probably for the last 1 year. They're also coming up with some ban. So there are, but there is some states which has complete ban, like JK, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Sikkim. So as you can, and this is the source is the Central Pollution Control Board from their report from their website. So this is on the ban on polythene carry bags. So it's a so when they say complete ban means no polythene carry bags. Partial ban, it depends on the size of the bag and also the thickness of the bag. And not ban means where it is, of course, you can easily available. But as you can see, many of you will probably come. We have several thousand students in this particular course. So many of you will come from this state. So we would like to hear on your experience in terms of how much of that ban is really working in your state in terms of single-use plastic bags, carry bags, which this is the bags that we are referring to on what you get when you go for buying potatoes or onions and like jalebis, samosas, all those the thin carry bags, or you go for meat, that black color bag. Whether the bags are still available in these states or if it is not available. Based on some of the travel that I have done, in fact, some of these states, it's kind of a news for me that there is a ban, because I could see those things available. So, but maybe I would like to hear from you, like what you think about these bans. Is it really working in your state? And then there are some partial ban. We are recording this at West Bengal. So this says partial ban. So that means less than 40 microns should not be available. It is not available in our campus now, but if you just go outside the campus, it is available still. So that means that it's at least it's not working in this particular town where we are recording this at IIT Kharagpur, basically Kharagpur town. At campus, we have a certain ban in place for last few months, and hopefully it will work. Let's see. So again, we have to provide in the campus. We have tried to provide some alternatives. So that's which is around a little bit expensive, but people have to, because since the other bag is not available, if they don't bring their own bag, they have to buy those alternative bags. So there are some bans in place. Different states at different scenarios, different level right now, but there are some bans in place already. So and there was some recent. This is just a news came very early of this year, January 3rd, 2019, where it says that Indian states' implementation of plastic ban is a mixed bag. So, for example, this says Tamil Nadu is the latest state, which was not there. If you remember from the previous slide, Tamil Nadu is not there, but now the Tamil Nadu is also had banned. So, have banned the single-use plastic. So, if you look at the fourth state in India to implement a ban on single-use, although it's in recent times. Maharashtra did it on March 23, then Himachal Pradesh in July, but for most Indian states, almost all have banned plastic bags. So, there is a bag, as you can see from the previous list. Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka has also banned single-use plastic, but they haven't used the term. Karnataka's notification came in 2016. UP banned in August 15, 2018. Sikkim was way ahead, which was the only when it comes to plastic bag in 1998. In 2016, they banned even the use of plastic bottles, styrofoams, thermocol to displace plates and cutleries. Not a blanket single-use plastic ban. The Bihar government now also banned it. Bihar ban was confined to use of plastic carry bags. Andhra Pradesh made a similar announcement, as did Assam and Meghalaya. Also Odisha banned polythene bags, PET bottle of less than 500 ml capacity, single-use plastic cutlery and thermocol decorative items. So, as you can see, even from the previous list, all the stuff that was not, most of these states have also now banned plastic. So, there is a lot of, we have to see how these bans are coming, how it is really working on ground, and for that I need your help in terms of educating us in terms of how the ban is really working. Now, looking at the global scale, here again there are different types of ban. As you can see, there is some full country ban, there is some partial ban, and ban not yet implemented, but is still being thought about, and there is a taxes, charges or other measures is what taxes, they are charged some money. So, as you can see, for many of the countries there is partial ban. US, Canada, Mexico, most of North America, Brazil, Argentina, Chile and some other Latin American and South American countries. So, there is a partial ban. So, that is the red color is the total ban. So, there are some countries here which has a total ban, then some African countries have total ban, which we talked about Rwanda and also Kenya, Ethiopia, so Mozambique, South Africa. So, many of those countries also have total ban. India and China also has full country ban on certain types of plastics. Bangladesh had partial ban on certain types of plastic now. Australia also have partial ban, and New Zealand not implemented, but still thinking about it. Some states here not implemented, but they are thinking about that as well. Here in Europe, some countries are thinking about having a ban. But if you look at the Western European, it's kind of really interesting here. So, if you look at the Western European, if you remember from the class that we have been talking about in this, or some of you may have taken a waste management course either on NPTEL or some other forum, where whenever we look at waste management or environmental, we look at Europe as an example. But as you can see over here, Europe seems to be not that much into the banning. They are more into trying to tax, charges or other measures. So, they are instead of fines or bans, they are actually looking at alternatives. They are looking at how to really, they are charging money and generate revenue, and they are trying to have a proper plastic waste management system. Rather than, I have visited some of those plants in Netherlands and in Austria, and they are wonderful. They try to capture most of it. We always make joke about Sweden as well, that Sweden is recycling so much of garbage that it has to import garbage from other countries to run it waste to energy plant. So, because so that's in Sweden they do very dedicated, very elaborate source segregation. So, as you can see, these Western European countries and most of the European countries here, many of them are not really thinking about banning. They are thinking about charging. They are taxing it, they are charging it, and they are using that money to develop a robust working plastic waste management system. So, there is this two chain of thoughts we can talk about, that some countries we are thinking about ban, but the other countries are also looking at how to reduce it. As we saw in the very first slide of the last video, one option of going towards this aspect is either you charge, other aspect is ban. So, Western European countries are mostly looking at the charging side and try to develop their own, and they do a very decent job of managing their plastic waste, probably one of the best in the world as compared to many other countries which are thinking of banning it. So we need to, that's again a food for thought. We need to really think about what will work. We have to look at all these models before we kind of jump to a, many times what happens in Indian context or many countries, I will say, that we go by emotion, we make a very rushed decision that okay, we have to ban it, we have to do this, but there is no follow-up action. There is no practical approach. Practical approach is missing, and we also don't work on developing the infrastructure to really make that whatever policy decision we are making to work. So those things are needed. So that's why we have to look at what will really work and look at the examples of from around the world, good practices of around the world in terms of plastic waste management, and see do's and don'ts and what really works and what really doesn't work. And what works in one country may not work in the other country too. So we have to be careful with that as well. So Kenya was banning all plastic bags. That was long ago, like a few years back. So few years is actually quite a. So Kenya is banning all plastic bags, and Planet Earth is extremely grateful. So that's a nice catchy headline. So Kenya, as of August 2017, anyone found in Kenya with a plastic bag, selling a plastic bag may go up to 4 years in jail, and they may go for 4 years in jail or $38,000 fine. That's a lot of money. So that's multiplied by 70. So that's we are looking at close to 20 lakhs, something around that, maybe more, actually more, 30 lakhs. So close to 30 lakhs of fine if 25 to 30 lakhs of fine if you're found with a plastic bag. So if you're visiting Kenya, make sure you don't have your plastic bag. It is the world's harshest plastic bag ban, and but that helped in creating some very creative solutions in Kenya. Where people are coming up with a very innovative solution in terms of managing the plastic bag, managing to make with this plastic ban. Then Vanuatu, which is a South Pacific nation, is the first of its kind to ban plastic bags and bottle. The Prime Minister announced its ban on Independence Day. So they have on July 30th, 2017, on its Independence Day, the Pacific nations of Vanuatu announced the pending of phasing out of plastic bags and bottle. When implemented, it will ban the use of single-use plastic bags and bottles. It will make first Pacific country to launch such a ban. So there are some leadership coming from different parts of the world. UK, it's announced a 25-year plan to set the global gold standard on eliminating plastic waste. Now that's according to the Environment Minister. So they are looking at coming up with global gold standard, which in terms of eliminating plastic waste, according to the Minister, Michael Gove. The first step was to eliminate plastic microbeads. So again, this is very important actually. We have been talking about banning of single-use plastic bags and single-use plastic in general, but one of the sources of plastic which is really harmful for the environment is these microbeads, which is used in the scrubber that we scrub the face while you try to take your dead skin out, and it's used in many applications, even used the glittery glue and all those things. It uses lots of plastic microbeads. And when it's used, it rinsed off cosmetic and personal care product, so which can no longer be used in the rinse off. And the tiny plastics are found in products like body scrubs, face washes, toothpaste as well. Sometimes those toothpaste which has like a lot of, it's not very smooth. It's little bit of rough, gives you a sand grain kind of feeling. that also has plastic beads. Think about, we are taking the plastic beads in our mouth, and so if part of it, of course, while doing it will come out, but there could be a little bit of it which goes into the body too. And over time, you do your brush at least 2 times a day. That was dentist recommend. So you should brush morning and evening, and so that's and then if you are even getting little bit of that microbeads coming into your body every 2 times a day, 7 days a week, and think about to your lifetime up to 50 years of your age, then that will add up, and that may create problem of different kind of health issues. So cleaning products also uses that. So they are so tiny, they end up in ocean. They end up in ocean where they're eaten up by the sea creatures and often end back into the food chain. So that's the UK is looking at banning this microbeads. So we have to say for the Indian context too, this is one area which should be looked into, and I hope the government is already looking into this area where single-use plastics thing is great, but what about microbeads? What about these beads in all these different products that are being sold in the market? In the Indian conditions, most of it, even the sewage treatment plant is not working properly many places. So our sewerage system is just going into the surface water. So all these microplastics, when we put all those scrubs and there's all these cosmetics, we take shower, so all these microplastics are getting into the water and then finally to the surface water and to the ocean. So it's not quite a complete ban, but with a leave-on products like sunscreen and makeup will be allowed to contain microbeads. So there are some like sunscreen and makeup is still allowed to contain microbeads, which in my view they should try to gradually phase out that as well, because it's a nasty stuff. We don't want this microplastics showing up in our ocean, because it affects the seafood and then it gets back to the food chain. And it also affects all the species present in ocean. Taiwan, it's in February of, they announced February of last year, in February of 2018, Taiwan announced one of the farthest reaching bans on plastic in the world. So they are restricting the use of single-use plastic, their use of single-use plastic, straws, utensils and cups. So all those, the ban, which builds on existing regulation like a recycling program, the extra charge for plastic bags would be completely enforced by 2030. So they are trying to put this in place. They will put some extra charges for plastic bags and then generate money to implement this policy. So Taiwan bans all plastic bags, straws and utensils. So that's in February of last year when they come up with this ban. Zimbabwe, they are in July 2017 announced a total ban on EPS, which is the expanded as polystyrene, a styrofoam-like material used for food containers. Those material that you get when you go to any restaurant after you eat something, there is a leftover food. The restaurant asks you whether you want to carry it home, and that the container in which you carry it home is actually expanded polystyrene container. So it takes 1 million years to decompose. So you may not have thought about it. So when it may take up to 1 million years to decompose. So those, so you see those pictures of those right here. So this is they caught violating. Anybody find violating a ban, depending on the type of violation, it is a fine of $30 to $500. So that's the ban they are thinking about. Then Canada, Montreal, which is with Canadian city of Montreal, which is in Quebec, kicked off 2018 by banning single-use plastic bags. So they don't want single-use plastic bags. Even some of the other cities, they have not using plastic bags. They are actually encouraging people. Many of these grocery stores, what they are doing is they are providing alternative bags, which is a reusable bags for a certain price. And then you keep on bringing that bag rather than using this single-use plastic bag. So they ban single-use plastic bag. So merchants have until June 5 to adopt to the policy. After that, first offender face fine of $1,000, then $2,000 for corporation. So city used to have roughly 2 billion plastic bags every year, and just 14% of those were recycled. So that's a lot of plastic bags. Meanwhile, the city of Victoria also announced it will bring a ban on single-use plastic in July. So in July 2018, city of Victoria also started having plastic bag ban. So there are a lot of things are happening globally in different countries. Malibu, in March, this Californian city of Malibu locals council voted to ban the sale, distribution, use of single-use plastic straw to begin in June 1. Idea is to keep the plastic from reaching city beaches and ocean. So that was in Malibu. Seattle banned all plastic straw utensils in restaurant in 2018. That started in July 1 of last year. The first US city to enact a ban on plastic straws along with single-use plastic utensils. Ban was tested in September with a citywide strawless in Seattle campaign, which involved major 100 restaurants, major sporting organization, airports, aquariums, and others. So they did test it out to see whether it will work. Australia, South Australia, Tasmania, Australian Capital Territory, Tasmania, and the Northern Territory have a statewide ban on single-use plastic. And Queensland started that also in July 2018. Coles and Woolworths, they announced that these are the major supermarkets like our Spencer's or Reliance Fresh, even actually they are bigger than that, but similar style. They will phase out single-use plastic bag by mid-2018, and they did start doing that. I was there during mid-2018 in Melbourne, Australia for 4 months. So there I did see during the time I was present there, I think it started on 1st of July. I was there for 15th of May to 15th of September. So in 1st of July they started where people have to bring their own bags, or they can buy a bag, or they will started charging money for the bag. But later on they had some issues where people were requesting bag, and they made it optional, which is not really they had to kind of relent back because there was a lot of demand for those plastic carry bags. Or they started not charging for those reusable bags. So that's also they did. So Australia is one of the largest waste producers, second only to US, with Australian having 5 billion plastic bags every year before the ban, according to Clean Up Australia. So according to this NGO, basically they are 5 billion plastic bags, and Australia has a huge seashore. Australia is an island basically, so it's you see it things may go into the ocean from all the different sites of that particular country. So again, ban the bag. There is some initiative going on in Australia. Canada, they put a full stop on plastic microbeads. You saw the example of Montreal going for bags as well. It's still permitted for non-prescription drugs and certain natural health product until July, which is last year. So they officially banned toiletries that contain plastic microbeads. That's really good. Research has previously found that 1.1 million microbeads per square kilometer in Lake Ontario. So those 5 lakes, the North America, the northern part of US and the southern part of Canada, they depend a lot on those 5 lakes in terms of their water for their food and like a fish and all that. So they always look at trying to keep it as clean as possible, and so that's one of these biggest Lake Ontario, 1.1 million microbeads per square kilometer. So as these are really nasty stuff which gets into the food chain through this phase. So Canada has officially banned toiletries, so this is really good. Then Hamburg, Germany, which is a fairly niche plastic ban in February 2016 against non-recyclable plastic coffee pots. So these are the coffee pots you see on the right in here. These coffee pots which you can use in the coffee machine. Some of you may have seen that. It's comes with different flavors and other stuff as well. So this rather than using like we use the tea bags for tea, you can use this as a coffee pots in the coffee machine, and this will from a coffee dispenser machine. There are certain machines where you can use, and you can make your coffee. But these are non-recyclable. They also contains different types of plastics. So there is the German city that has that there is no need for non-recyclable coffee pots. So billions of plastic cells were piling up in the landfill each year. So because coffee, lot of people consume coffee maybe multiple times a day as well. So that's so they do add up into the environment. France in 2016 again they banned the plastic cups, plates and cutlery. France becomes the first country to announce the ban, to be brought from 2020. So it's to be brought. So it's still in process. So they banned in 2016. They announced it in 2016, giving the industry an option of coming up with alternatives and solutions, alternative arrangements until 2020. So there is some time given to come up with a newer product, alternative product, which can really take the place of these single-use plastic cups, plates and cutleries. It followed the country's total ban of plastic bags in 2015, transformed France into an exemplary nation, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and all that. Then Morocco says no more, why plastic bags are on their way out. So before the ban, which was signed into law on July 1, Morocco used 3 billion plastic bags each year, incredible 900 bags per person per year. So a lot of bags coming, and it made it to a second largest plastic bag consumer. But the landmark bill was launched to ban the production, import, sale and distribution of all plastic bags across the country. So that's in Morocco is also looking at the ban. Rwanda, which you looked at in that video as well in the previous module, towards the end of the previous module, and where think about they were imposing taxes on plastic bags. In 2008, carrying a plastic bag in the country can be a jail sentence, receive fines of about 61. Plastic ocean, plastic ban is just the start, which is now hinting at becoming the world's first plastic-free nation, planning to become completely sustainable by 2020. So Rwanda in general is working on sustainable aspects in different the day-to-day activities, agricultural, industry, and all that. And plastic ban is one of the items that they are working on in a big picture in terms of environmental stewardship. So that's. So you saw about Rwanda in that video too. So this is in terms of Rwanda. New York, there was a proposal. New York is considering banning plastic bags. Governor Andrew Cuomo calls for end of single-use plastic in grocery stores and retailers. There are certain exemptions into the produce bags, takeout bags, bags sold for garbage or food storage. So again, a lot of plastic bags comes to streets, water, natural resources, and we need to take action. That's what Cuomo said in the statement, which is a governor of New York. Toronto also tried a few years back. Toronto tried plastic bag ban, and after some time they had to actually get back. They released the ban. So sometimes again, if you don't have a cheaper, sustainable alternative which can do the same function, just coming up with a ban does not really work. So in US, as US is a combination of several states, and each state has their own kind of system. It's a federal government has certain powers, but the state has a lot of their own. States are more free in US system as opposed to in Indian system. So here, states can take a lot of decisions, which, of course, they have to follow the federal guideline, but it could be more stricter than federal rules. So, plastic bag ban is there in California. Plastic bag taxes is there in Washington, D.C. Recycle and reuse program is there in some of these New England states, which are considered a bit of progressive states as well. New York, Rhode Island, and Delaware, and other states. And in some states have preemptively banned plastic bag regulation. So where they are trying to ban plastic bag: Arizona, Mississippi, Florida, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Idaho, and Iowa and Missouri. So there are so these are the states which have some, but most of the other states you see that there is no regulation yet, like Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Those doesn't have. Georgia, Alabama, they don't have any regulation. So this is in in terms of plastic ban status. So let's. So this is what the global scenario is in terms of the plastic ban. You saw that different countries are trying it. Some countries are looking at the ban. Some countries are looking at the taxes in terms of improving collection system, improving the treatment system, improving the plastic waste management infrastructure. But there are bans in many countries, and some with a mixed success. Somewhere it's working, somewhere, as I said, for example, in Toronto they have to take it back. In Australia as well, there were certain, earlier they were charging money for those reusable grocery bags, and then they have to give it for free in Coles, and that happened in the mid of last year. And I don't know what is the right now the present status. I hope they have gone back for charging some money. So again, my request to all of you will be this, as I said in the beginning of this course, this is a brand new course which has no textbook. So we are trying to collate information from different sources, and we are trying, based on the course outline that we have proposed, we are trying to go into each topic and try to present you information which is available. But at the same time, I would request you to like if you have some new information, let us know. We'll include that in our during the online live session and other stuff. So use the discussion forum if you have any newer things that you need to add to our to this particular topic. So thank you, and have a good one so far. We are kind of going towards the middle of the course now. This is the 4th week. Second module is over. So again, I'll see you in the next module. Thank you.